Hey, good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to Pre-Market Prep. I'm Spencer. Joel is here. Dennis is here. And we have thoughts on things. So many thoughts on so many things. It's going to be a fun show today. I'll tell you why in a minute. Let's get the show started. This is Pre-Market Prep with Joel Elconin, Dennis Dick, and Spencer Israel. It's not every day we have a comedian on the show, Joel, but that's what's happened.
What do you mean? I'm not a comedian?
Not a professional comedian on the show, Joel. We have Bill Santiago joining us today. He is a trader, and that's his evening gig. His day job is a comedian, and we love Bill. And we're gonna get Bill on in about a half hour or so. We're gonna talk some trading, tell some jokes, do all that fun stuff. But in the meantime, we got a lot going on today. We're going to talk about just the shellacking that is happening in tech land here. We'll talk about the reaction to the Powell news yesterday as it got digested throughout the day. We're going to talk about Zoom. That's growth tech. We're going to talk about retail. Obviously, we had Best Buy earnings. We had Dollar Tree earnings. We had, let me go back to my list here. We had Dick's earnings this morning, Urban Outfitters last night. So we got some retail on the mind. We'll take questions from our chat as always. And before I throw it to Joel and his charts, I want to say a reminder, and I'm going to put the link in chat right now. I just did. December 11th is the final pre-market prep Saturday boot camp workshop festival extravaganza of the year. Order execution, order flow, and tape reading. I just put the link to sign up in the chat. It's also in the description below where you're watching this right now. So check it out right now. And Joel, let's bring up your charts here. Tell us how we're doing this morning. We had a weak close.
What a deceiving down $2.50 and 77 and a quarter. Popped off the open to 46.89. That's a good level to keep an eye on. See, always got to take out the pre-market high if you want to have a good day. On the downside, we went to 54.50, so we blew through the low from last week, and now we're rebounding. So we'll talk about the markets when Triple D come in, because during the pre-market show, Triple D was in an ultra fast market. I mean, yeah, my ears were tired, but he's going to come on. He'll share his thoughts with us. Crude, they finally released the strategic reserves down 44 cents, 76.32. That should help the inflation picture. But no one's telling the gold market that down $16 at 17.19.30, now under 1,800. Silver, after flirting with the 25 handle, we're now in the 23 handle, down 67 cents at 23.63. Bitcoin futures, they're hogging 55K, up 835 and 56,650. Ethereum futures, they're going the same way. They're up $99 at $4,165. Triple D, you got a lot on your mind today, buddy. How you doing? Are you getting killed in anything, first of all?
I'm always getting killed in something. That's part of the market. So when you have 100 overnight positions, I actually don't have 100 overnight. I have about, I've got out of some. I have maybe 35 or 40 overnight positions. You're always getting killed in something. It's all a matter of managing losers when you have that many. Manage out of the losers, work out of some of the winners. It's all good. We just got to figure out, what's moving, what's not moving. So anyways, no, we're
what
good.
a wild 45 minutes, 35 minutes yesterday. Even you didn't have your delayed spook quotes on, right? Did you have live spook quotes? Are you paying for those now? Did you get, because you were right on it,
No, I
dude.
don't play live for live spook quotes. It's $700 a month for a professional, which is just ridiculous. You get them for $4 if you're retail, but if you're a professional, if you have a license, yeah, you pay $700 a month. So that's what they get. They get the prop traders. So you know what I do? I look at SPY. I don't pay that. I still pay for SPY quotes, which costs money too, but not $700 a month.
So let's talk about
I just had something interesting happen. So I tweet. I don't know if you can show the tweet, but it was a chart from the Financial Times that was saying that short selling of ARKK has risen to a record high. And this is a good segue because we're going to talk all the ERK stocks in a minute here and how they've been getting hammered. And then so I said, I quoted that tweet and I said, well, I'm blaming SARK for this one, SARK, which was a bit of a joke. The Tuttle Capital Management, the Tuttle Capital Management
This is the graphic
person
you just tweeted.
representative just tweeted back at me and said, that's not us. That was uptrending before we launched. So they actually came and found my tweet.
There it is.
I didn't CC him on it or nothing, but that's interesting. He must just be looking at his own symbol.
Did we have that guy on before?
I don't know. We should have him on.
Yeah, Tuttle's been on. He hasn't been on our show for a while, but he's been on.
Yeah,
with
we should have him on.
That's big time.
He's been on with Chris. He's been on. Yeah, he's too big time for us.
What's his name? Because he's going under Tuttle Capital.
Yeah, Matt Tuttle.
Is it Tuttle?
Matt Tuttle. Yeah, he's
been Matt Tuttle. Okay,
yeah,
great.
we had him on the show like a bunch of times years ago.
Guys. Less than 2 weeks. I just did an interview.
I know.
Money
I
Mitch.
said he was on with Mitch. He's been on with Mitch and Chris before. He's been on Benzinga a bunch of times, but not with this specific show for he's too big time now. He only talks to Mitch.
Well, he reached out to me, so I think he'd come on.
All right, he likes Dennis.
Hey,
he likes me. He reached out just to say it's not our fault. It's not our fault that Kathy's going out. And it was a joke. I didn't think it was Tuttle that was doing that. Obviously, it's the overall holdings here. We know that it's just not, well, I mean, there's short bets going up. So I guess if short bets are going up and he's got a short fund that is literally shorting ARKK, that it might have something to do with it. But it was more of a joke. I mean, obviously, a lot of her holdings are very weak stocks right now. Let's talk about ARK because these were the stocks that were absolutely getting hammered yesterday. And this, to me, makes perfect sense. So let's think about what occurred yesterday. Right at the end of our show, Jerome Powell is back. So we know Pumpin' Powell is back. One thing about Pumpin' Powell is we know he doesn't care too much about inflation, or at least he doesn't want to address it as well as maybe another chair would have. So that is the boogeyman in the room. Is that okay? Well, what's that mean for inflation? Well, he hasn't worried about it too much up to this point. Is he going to start worrying about it? Maybe, but maybe another chair would have worried a little bit sooner. So the inflation trade came on yesterday, something fierce, and you could see it. With the banks going up, you could see it with commodity stocks. A lot of steel was up, coal was up. You had even some oil stocks up on a day that wasn't even that great for oil, but the oil did turn around. It was weak early. You could see the commodity trade. Forget about gold, forget about silver. They do their own thing. Gold is just not an inflation hedge. It hasn't been worked. That trade hasn't worked all year when we were in the highest inflationary environment for 30 years. So gold just not a good representative. But when you look, you had that trade going on. And what else did you have happen? High growth tech got hammered. Why? Because those future earnings. So when you're buying high growth tech, you're buying future earnings. Those future earnings are worth a lot less in an inflationary environment. So that is why high growth tech gets hit harder in an inflationary environment. And it got hit the hardest. And who owns the most high growth tech? It's Kathy, and her fund got hammered again. Now approaching a little ways off here yet, but we're starting to get down and getting down and dirty near the 52-week lows again. We can look at ARKK, best example, $159 back in February when everybody had to own it. It's $108 now. So you're talking about a fund that is down about 30% on a year that the S&P has done pretty well. So since February, same time, S&P's up about 20%. Kathy Wood down about 30%. Not great. Why? Well, we're fighting inflation all year. Her bet is on deflation. She's on CNBC talking about deflation being a major issue. Perfectly wrong. So her fund getting punished because she's an all high growth tech, which benefits from deflation and definitely doesn't benefit from inflation. So if
is Pumpin' Powell losing his punch? Is Pumpin' Powell losing his punch?
Why?
I don't know. I mean, the
markets are still at all-time highs.
Yeah, but yesterday. I mean, with him coming in like that, the market
People are concerned about inflation. I mean, this is a major concern for this market, and we get nothing with the same chairman. We know we're going to be a market. And obviously the market overall. We're not saying sell all your stocks, Katie bar the door, the market's crashing. We're saying why you're seeing this separation. You're seeing commodity trades go up because if he's not going to address inflation, the market is. The market is going to bet on inflation continuing with Powell. Is that bad for your overall market? Apparently not. The S&Ps are still up near all-time highs. But is it good for high-growth tech? Hell no. So Cathie Wood positioned not for inflation. If inflation goes away, if inflation starts to come down substantially, you will probably see a rally in the high-growth names. So basically putting a long bet on ARKK is a bet that inflation is transitory and eventually going to be a lot less. It's never going to go away, but we're going to get back off at 6.5%. So just know that when you're buying these stocks, is when you're buying a Cathie Wood fund, you are betting on deflation, not inflation.
That's a great point. And as I was noting, we were talking about this morning. I didn't even realize this, but like the Cathie fund that I own, the ARKW, after all is said and done this year, I'm only down like 1%. It feels like I should be down more. I am down more when you compare it against the SPY, because SPY is up 25% this year. But I'm basically only down 1% in my ARK, which really, relative to the SPY, it sucks. But like just in a vacuum, isn't actually as terrible as I would have assumed. So I almost feel like it's a moral victory this morning for me, because I thought it would have been down more this year. But you're right, and that's why you have to be prepared for more than one type of environment, right? Last year it was all Cathie. Last year was was personally, I did fine, but I definitely didn't I was knocking the doors down. I definitely wasn't having the amount of fun that people that were all in on everything Cathie were having, right? Because I didn't have that much growth exposure. I have some, but not everything.
Yeah.
So last year was good for me, but not as good as a lot of people. This year was better for me, and all the people that had a blast last year with their Zooms and their Rokus and their Pelotons and whatever, and the Teledocs and this and that, they're not having fun this year.
And she had and it's a great point, Spencer. Yeah. I mean, let's give her some credit, because her fund, we just dissed her. She's had a really rough 2021, but she had a fantastic 2020. The big difference, we didn't have inflation 2020. So basically, when you just boil it down, is inflation is playing a huge part in her performance, a huge part. And should she be down this year? Absolutely. For the simple reason is I saw her on CNBC 4 months ago saying that she believed that inflation is not an issue at all and deflation is the issue. She is positioned for deflation.
Exact opposite.
And when you have inflation happening, it's the exact opposite of how she is positioned. She could not be positioned worse, which is why her performance of her fund is one of the worst funds of the year. So is it going to continue? It all depends on inflation. If we start to go into a deflationary environment, like she predicts, those high growth tech names will pick up. But it matters. Inflation matters to Cathie Wood, maybe more than most other fund managers, because a lot of other fund managers are diversified. Me, I've got some inflationary stuff. I've got some tech stuff. I'm diversified. She's not. She's high growth tech, and obviously talking about deflation. She's talking disruptive technology. She's all in. She keeps going all in. She buys more Teladoc every single day. So it all depends on, it could turn, and she's going to have moments where it looks like it's turning and it's getting better, but she's paying very high valuations, and I'm making a huge bet on deflation. And so far in the back half of 2021, that's been a bad bet.
She's creating her own overhead supply. I mean, forget about everybody else in there. I mean, she's getting too big in some of this stuff, right?
Can we look at her top holdings?
Yeah.
Bring them up.
I mean, you know, the street is all over that. And then I was just looking at ARKK. I mean, technically, this thing trades pretty well. I mean, like last week, like I know it's a $120 stock, but I mean, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 highs in the same area. I mean, that is, I mean, it's technically it's good, and then you just had the breakdown for that. The only thing you're looking at is for today. Where's it at? 106.35. That was your October low, and then after that, I mean, you're looking at single double digits. 97.22 was your May of 2000 low, and as much as we're talking about how much has gotten killed, I mean, look what it did in 20. I mean, there is under $100. Once these things go into double digits, they just get whooped on. Example: Peloton, Beyond Meat, and then the other thing that makes it even worse is like she just had such a great call on Tesla. over the
Well,
years.
this is a huge point. Tesla,
Yeah.
what is Tesla up this year?
Like
Let's look.
740%. I don't even
Tesla's up
know.
like 50% this year, maybe more. Her biggest holding is up 50%, and her
Mm.
fund is 20 or 30% off of the highs. I mean, how bad are her other stocks? If
Oh,
her
wow.
best holding and her top holding is kicking ass and taking names, and she's down that much, it means she had some really bad other holdings. So let's look. And Unity Software has been a
It's
great one.
doing
And
great.
obviously,
Yeah.
what you could see is there's going to be separation. What her top holdings are the ones that are going to be performing better because they're still remaining her top holdings. So you got to look at it that way too.
Not necessarily. She, we talk about how often she buys the dip. It is actively managed. It's not like the cream will automatically rise.
It's actively managed.
It's not that the cream automatically rises to the top here, right? She's got Teladoc up there. That's a big loser this year. She's got Coinbase up there. That's
a winner this year.
You're right.
Yeah, that's come back.
Well, not from the IPO, I guess, but it's come back from the lows.
So anyway, but
Roku disaster, Zoom. We'll talk about that in a second. Great segue into that one in a second. Disaster. Shopify's been fantastic.
Yeah,
Spotify. I haven't looked at Spotify in a long time. It's kind of meandering in there. Square. I'm very worried about Square because of what's happened to PayPal, Twilio. All these starting to look yucky. So.
Yeah.
Anyways, it's what you're betting on. So know what you own. You can bet, but you're betting on inflation going away if you're betting on Kathy. I'm not thinking inflation's going away anytime soon. I think inflation is sticky. I think it's going to be here for a while. Are we going to be humming around 6.5%, 7%? Maybe it comes in a little bit, but look at what the gentleman said on CNBC last night on Mad Money. They had the CEO of Traeger, and he said that the costs of his container ships, so basically bringing his,
I saw that,
bringing his barbecues over or whatever, $1,500 was back in 2020. It cost about $1,500. He says in some cases they're paying as high as $30,000 for that same ship. So why are prices going up? Well, when your shipping goes from $1,500 to $30,000 for your container, I mean, holy mackerel, you got to pass that along to the customers. So watch that. I mean, maybe that's where the root of the problem is getting the product here. And if you can't get it here, I mean, I know, like I said, we've been building a house. My wife's been buying everything. We're storing stuff everywhere for the house because we're scared we're not going to get it, or the prices are going to be a lot higher when we actually need to get the stuff put into the house. But I mean, the container shipping is probably right near the root of the problem.
Yeah.
Or they could just be a hero and not pass it along to the
consumer. Also, if you look at it, they get it to the ship gets it to the dock, right? Then a truck has to take it. Well, what's higher gas prices, right? So there's another inflationary thing. Now, crude's coming in a little bit. It's funny how gas goes, $2.25, $2.5, $3.50, whatever. People are paying above $4 on places. And then crude comes down $7, $8, $10, and price of gas comes down a nickel. I mean, it's so easy to ratchet up the prices, but they never seem to come down as fast. But 8:19 here. Do we want to? Where do we got? Where's the little
Zoom?
Zoom?
Yeah, let's go into Zoom because this is a growth tech name. This is a stock that Kathy owns. And man, I did not. I'm not always right, but I did not feel good about this report going in.
The report was fine.
Okay, I didn't feel about the stock going into the report.
I didn't feel good about the stock either.
The report was fine.
Does the report matter?
That's another great question, Joe.
No.
Well, their earnings per share came in a couple of cents above estimates. Their sales came in a little bit above estimates as well. They gave guidance for the quarter. It was good, right? It was beat by a little bit on the EPS. They beat by a little bit on the sales. Everything came in a little bit above where the estimates were. However, if you look at the growth rate of Zoom, the numbers they reported last quarter represented their slowest growth rate since before their IPO. So that's all the street cares about right now is, again, sort of like Robinhood, a victim of their own success, right? The growth rate was so outrageous for the last year and a half.
The valuation was outrageous too. Yeah. I mean, you're paying, what was at the peak, what were we paying? Like 30 times sales or something stupid for this? I mean, okay, so again, when the story is hot, I'm going to say this, I'm a broken record on here, but you know why I'm a broken record? Because this stuff works. When the story is hot, valuation is meaningless. Meaningless. When the story cools off, valuation starts to matter. And at a certain point, valuation is all that matters when you have no story. So Zoom story, ice cold, brr. Back in July, August, September, oh, we're all going to Zoom. We're never going to go out again. Story was awesome. Everybody's paying through the roof prices. You got to watch what you pay for. And eventually, so you don't have to. When the story's hot, you can just get in there. But you got to get out when the story starts to cool off. The story went ice cold when we started to get a handle on COVID. And that's over a year ago now. So, are we still going to have other bumps in COVID? Yeah, but people are still now doing their other thing. There's competition for them. I mean, like Joel was saying yesterday, unless they're announcing new products and other things.
Yeah, that's what I was looking. Yeah,
like big new products and new ideas. It's tough to just bet on a streaming, service here because there's so many other ones. I mean, we use StreamYard one now. We've used other ones. There's, obviously there's Cisco WebEx. There's a million of these things out there now. Zoom may be the best one of them all. But is it worth the valuation you were paying? I mean, at the peak, what was the market cap on this thing? Like, what is the market cap now? Maybe that's a good exercise too.
That's a good question. So
when valuation matters, and it does on Zoom now, what is the market cap on this thing? What are you paying for?
72 billion, but that's as of the close. So I don't know. Call it.
It's still worth $70 billion.
Yeah,
it's a lot of money.
Yeah,
this thing is gulag cold, Dennis. I mean, it's beyond it. And also, could you pick a worse day to announce earnings after that sell-off? It seemed like they were just doomed.
Yeah, you're right.
After
Joel.
the Peloton, after the market, after that sell-off, I mean, they could have, came out with a cure for cancer and baldness in that thing when they rallied. It's I can't even give you a monthly level because people are gonna get mad at me because the next monthly low, believe it or not, is at 183. I'm going to go out on a limb and say I don't think we're going to see that today. You have someone hanging up here just around the 218, 220 area, just maybe have some puts, maybe trying to bring stock in a little bit. So just keep 220 as a reference. The actual pre-market low is 217.80. So I'd like to keep an eye on that. I don't know. It's just
every rally.
And look at the way it closed yesterday too.
Look at what it did after hours. Go back to the after hours chart. It was a good report, and they ripped it. It's like, Zoom is back. Zoom is back. Look at that pre-market. Look at the after hours chart.
I saw that at like 4
o'clock. You got that thing on there.
I know. I moved it. I was going to go and I was going to try and find support.
But look what it did. It ran up $20. Look how long it held for. It couldn't hold that for more than 15 minutes.
15.
It couldn't hold the gain for 15 minutes, and the bag holders are just like, "Get me out, get me out, get me out." It's so hard for stocks and downtrends. It's so hard for them to just rip or on higher and go up like 30, 50, 80% because everybody's stuck in it. They're all stuck. And every single rally you get, it's like people, "Thank you, I'm out. Thank you for giving me my money back." They're so quick to hit. That's why even when the stock reports a good quarter, there's so many bag holders in a stock chart that's going that far down that the rips get sold. Sell rips on stocks and downtrends. No better example than Zoom last night. It works like a charm again.
And just looking at the day, I mean, that people that are stuck on this, the bigger traders, they got to be layering out. They just got to be putting offers there because I don't know how about big of a size because you don't want to affect the book, but it swept it and it traded some volume. Wow. You had 3 daily highs just surrounding 264. And then the pre-market high is 264 even. 3 highs right here. It got right into this area. Wow. Where you had sellers 4 days in a row. I switched over to the 5-minute chart. So 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and then boom, the bottom fell out. And then you had people buying it the whole way here. And they're like, what? 250? What? 245? Not a good day for Zooms. So We'll see. 220 area, level of interest.
Yeah. Let's move on here to retail because we got a bunch of retailers in focus this morning. Let's start with Best Buy. I gotta say, I'm sort of scratching my head at this one. I'm scratching my head at the reaction to this one because I had assumed that what Best Buy said was obvious, which is like same thing as Zoom. Frankly, like there is no way There is no way that they can possibly maintain the growth that they had last year on the e-commerce front. So here's what they said. EPS for last quarter, it was good. It beat the estimate. Sales, it was good. It beat the estimate. They actually raised their enterprise comp sales growth outlook for the year by 1 percentage point. And then they said, well, what I guess what the market's saying, well, yeah, that's all fine and dandy, Best Buy. But when you look at what those numbers were a year ago, your growth is slowing down. Well, like, yeah, duh. What do you think is going to happen? Okay, so their e-commerce sales were down year over year. Yeah. I mean, come
They
on.
also warned about their holiday sales.
They-
That'll do it. So
That was it.
I'll
That
get
was-
the comment here. I'm trying to find it here now. I had it up, but there was a comment about their holiday sales.
Okay, fine. Well,
So
this is a stock that
and that was because supply chain. Best Buy is still facing higher costs on the supply chain issue. So, it's not so much the demand's not there. It's that the supply is an issue here too, and they gave a soft holiday sales forecast.
I looked in the statement and I guess
It's on Twitter, so multiple people talking about it. So maybe what did they do? The conference call? Are they doing the conference call right now? Maybe it's on the
conference
call.
call is either happening right now or hasn't happened yet. So
Okay. And that's a big time issue here too. I mean, supply chain issues here. This is right back to what we were talking about before. So demand is there for electronics. Demand will probably be there in the holiday season, but if the supply is not there, that's an issue too. I don't know. What do you think here? Do you buy the pullback on Best Buy?
you got you got an area that if you're gonna do it, you have to lean on. And I call it this 118 area. Pre-market low is 121.11. You give it back half of this move pretty quickly. 3 lows in the same area, but I just think it's gonna, I don't think it's gonna be so clean. I'd maybe wait for it to go back down through that area. You know, takes out 118, 119, maybe comes and finds a home at 115, and then it comes back comes back up through this area. But if you look at it, just since the end of September, you got people still sitting on profits here, bought it all the way up to here, up, from 103 to 120. So couple 118 intermediate, and then the other support at 115. I mean, to find resistance on this thing, like if you're brave enough to try and pick the bottom in something like this, just scale out, just throw them out there.
Yes.
22, 23, 24, 25. We closed yesterday, so you got a little bit of a hint going into the close, but that's probably more after making a new all-time high. Have you ever seen so many stocks make a new all-time high on the day and then crumble? I mean, Microsoft. New
Yeah.
all-time high. $10
It
off
was
it.
an ugly
Now
tape.
12 bucks. I mean, this is an ugly day. This is
Yeah.
how we've seen a lot of ugly days like this,
Yeah.
but this one you really trapped some people.
It was an ugly, ugly, ugly tape yesterday. I will give you that. And the last 10 minutes was super ugly. And we lost, 35 handles in the last 10 minutes yesterday. That's incredible self. That was one of the worst closes of the year. It wasn't even on option
Of the year? I think it's the worst close
in a long time.
since COVID.
Yeah.
Or maybe
Well,
did
I'd
we
say
have
of the year and a half. It's
Yeah.
the worst close in a long time.
Yeah,
Because
I
we
mean,
were holding up and it's just like, boom, they pulled the rug out from under it. But what was happening yesterday, we'll get back to Best Buy in a second. What was happening yesterday was they hammered high growth tech all day and they simply got tired and they're like, okay, we're going to hammer value tech now too. And they started hammering Microsoft. This was the reason for your sell-off. Is we know S&P SPY is basically 5 stocks. The majority of it's like 27% is like the top 6 components or 7 components. It's insane. So Microsoft lost $4 in the last half hour yesterday. Apple lost $3 after being up on the day, basically in the last 20 minutes. So just looking through Google, just absolutely hammered in the last 15, 20 minutes. It was at 15.18. It was sitting up there, up on the day, 29.69. Then it lost another $35. So, I mean, Amazon, it was across the board. Facebook lost $4 in the last half hour too. Last 20 minutes, last half hour, all the big guns that are the biggest components in the S&P lost some serious steam. Even Tesla lost some serious steam. It's bouncing back here this morning, which it always seems to do, but lost some serious steam as well. So that's what happened. Going back to Best Buy, I actually think I would be a buyer of this dip for the simple reason is that I'm telling you, sell rips and stocks and uptrends, buy dips and stocks and uptrends. It's a big, big dip, though, is the problem. I would have liked it better if it wasn't such a big dip, because now it's like, oh, does it break trend? Kind of. But you're still at support. 120 is a big number here. And the setup for it makes me think they don't have a demand problem. I don't think it's more of a supply problem. It's worse to have a demand problem than it is a supply problem. So that's one thing in their favor. Second thing in their favor, it is still going into holiday season. And people get excited for a stock like this in holiday season. So you come into Black Friday, people start to think about this. Could this be one that turns around? It isn't going to get it all back, but could it bounce $5 or $6 from where it is right now? I think so. I think I'd actually be inclined to buy the dip here around 120. I don't have a position in it. I don't know if I'm a real buyer of any stocks right now because I'm a little bit nervous on the overall market. But if I was, Best Buy would be one I'd be looking at.
Show my screen here. Look at this, Dennis. I mean, you talk about this is a good tool. If you guys, this is what I use. This is what I keep up for my front screen. Look at that between Microsoft and Apple, almost 13% of the S&P 500.
Just those two stocks.
Yeah, just those two stocks, and then you go down all the. Look at the tech. I mean, Tesla in there. I mean, you're
Nvidia's up
talking
there now.
25,
Nvidia's
20.
up there now too.
Yeah, yep, 25, 26% of the S&P. I combine the Googs. It still
Obviously,
bothers
yes,
me.
for sure,
Yeah,
you
it
should.
still bothers me. But I mean, and those things were strongly. I mean, you're watching that. I mean, it's just a
It's
good
1,
thing
2,
to
3,
keep
4,
on.
5, 6 tech, 7 tech stocks making up what, 27%?
Yeah,
You said?
is that
Heavily
crazy?
weighted, and they're all the big guns.
Yep.
The S&P is dependent on those 7 names, big time.
Yeah, I just wanted to share that with you guys. So, something Dennis and I, been following for a long time, and I know, the Nasdaq and the Qs, and yeah, the Qs have been, the star performer and everything. But if you're looking at the S&Ps, the general market, that's just a good thing. I take a look at it because it's changed over the years. Remember when ExxonMobil was number 1 and GE was number 2, and IBM even spent some time up there. Who else is up there?
Cisco.
ExxonMobil used to be up
Cisco
there.
was number 1 for a while.
AT&T used to be in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, just by following that, you could get
AT&T had a great day yesterday. Why? Earnings now versus earnings in the future.
Well, it wasn't just that though. There was also the deal, the Vonage deal, which is like his AT&T's sandbox a little bit. So they're thinking maybe there's some consolidation that gonna be coming in the space with the Ericsson.
Who's gonna buy AT&T?
I don't think anybody. I don't think AT&T.
Well, no one's gonna buy AT&T, but it wasn't just AT&T. Verizon also traded higher yesterday. So
AT&T and Verizon both earnings now plays. This market is actually very simplistic right now. It doesn't dig deep into really digging deep. Okay, what's Vonage mean for AT&T? It's like we're going after earnings now. We don't want earnings in the future because if we're going to stick in with an inflation environment, they literally were buying stuff. That's why the banks are getting ripped. Stuff that was making a lot of money right now was getting bought yesterday because Powell was a bet that inflation continues for the foreseeable future.
For you T traders, if anybody cares besides me, who's long higher, look at this $25 area, and it's not 25 right on the kisser, but pretty darn close. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 highs, like around 25.10. That's when this thing will get interesting. And that's where you got room to here. Oh, even another high there. That's some good resistance there. 20 breaks above there, maybe. I mean, man, this thing has been ugly. Hey, where are those activists? We're going to break it up and said, hey, the value was $42 or something like that. Who was that?
They did break it up, sort of. AT&T spun off or is spinning off. Aren't they doing Warner Media? Isn't that?
I can't even keep track.
Yeah, isn't that happening? So yeah, I mean, AT&T kind of admitted that their acquisition strategy didn't quite work out. And Dish. What about? Aren't they?
Too many channels on Dish.
That was
just too many. Yeah,
DirecTV. Sorry, DirecTV. Yeah, they sold that, right? So, yeah,
it's commercials too.
They sold it. I hate commercials.
And you watch, and you know what? My kid's the same way. Like you're gonna have the new environment. You're putting commercial in the middle of the show. So like if I flip on cable TV, and my kid's watching Paw Patrol, and the commercial comes on, they're losing it because they're so spoiled with everything streaming. They don't watch commercials. The new environment does not watch commercials, at least, not in the middle of their shows.
Kids these days, man.
They are spoiled.
Get it.
Try
it's
go
literally,
to
they're
him.
going nuts. It's like it's another commercial, because we know a 30-minute show has 8 minutes of commercials in it. That's the way they've always done it. They've got to change that business model because they will lose the entire younger generation. Because I will tell you, my 7-year-old, my 4-year-old, zero tolerance for commercials, and that will continue. So
Try go to a Michigan football game. I mean, I'm going to keep my tickets. I'm going to go. I absolutely it's like 3:35. This guy with a little red hat comes on, and he stands there. I mean, I could go up, go to the bathroom, get a hot dog, say some hi to some friends, and come back. It's ruined sports. My dad said that in the 70s, that TV was going to ruin sports. And it's just absolutely
he
ridiculous.
also said TV was a fad.
All right.
Yeah, and so was McDonald's.
All right.
Nobody's
Where's-
gonna pay
where's
25
Bill?
cents for a
We
hamburger.
need some humor.
Yeah, everyone, if you have kids in the room, get those earmuffs ready. Bill Santiago.
Hope we don't get in trouble by YouTube.
I'm
Coming on
scared.
the
I'm
show
actually
right
get
now.
scared sometimes.
He's our resident comedian here. Let's bring him on the show. Bill, what's up, man?
Hey, how are you?
We are good. How are you?
You guys warning your audience against me? What kind of a reputation do I have out there?
Yeah.
He's good. He's good. Bill, I know you keep it PG for us. What's going on, buddy?
Nice to see you. I want to take the expectations down a little bit. I don't have a lot of jokes today because of supply chain issues, but I'll do what I can.
Yeah.
The supply
How
chain.
you doing, Dennis? Hey, Dennis, is earnings season over? Is it safe to change your shirt now? How long you
No.
got to keep this up?
No, yeah, the earnings season, we don't change our shirt during earnings season. We don't shower during earnings season. We don't change our shirt during earnings season. I think I did wear the shirt yesterday, too.
I heard you say that. I was like, Dennis, how far are you going to take this homeless hygiene strike during earnings season?
I know. I don't.
Is
yeah.
it just the shirt? Are you changing your underwear?
I
mean,
save
what
so
kind
much
of torture
money
you're
though
putting
on
through your
my
coworkers
water
through?
bills less. Like it helps. We got to cut expenses. I'm building a house, Bill. It's inflation's getting me. We got to cut expenses somewhere.
I heard you're not spending enough on it. You got to start a second house now.
Yeah, I know.
You got to start spending on a second
No.
house. You got to
Yeah,
get
I
the
had to sell my
lumber market
stock
back
before
up.
to finance his house.
Lord help us if that would have happened.
You stop building, and the price of lumber went down 50 points.
That's exactly what happened. We bought the absolute high. Yeah, pretty sure we bought the high. It was me. I was keeping the lumber prices inflated, and then we got purchased all the framing material. And then the lumber
Can you
prices
hear me?
collapsed.
Yes, we hear you, Bill.
What happened?
how's life?
Hello? Oh, sorry.
Bill,
Can you hear me there?
Yeah, we hear you. We hear you. Can you hear
Am I
us?
back?
Yes.
Am I back?
I think he's
Oh,
fooling.
he's
I think he's messing with us.
You're in the show. It says, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, what happened here?
Well, we hear him so
Hello?
well. We see him.
Oh
we
my
hear
God,
him.
I
We
see
keep
you, but
going.
maybe my alarm mic is on. Everything says it's okay. Hold
Okay.
on. I'm going to see if I can get you on my laptop. Hold on. This was working, but then my alarm.
We can just let Bill just talk for 30 minutes.
Hold
We
on.
hear you.
I wanted to boost on the ground report. I wanted to boost on the ground report.
Here's Joe. Can you do this tomorrow? Joe always calls me at the last second. Whenever Mark Shakin can't make it, he calls me up.
This is what he talks about when he thinks about
I got a weakness gauge on today. Hold on a second.
Wait, hold
Okay,
on.
I think we're here on the other one.
Bill.
Okay, back to my laptop. Here we go.
Uh-oh.
Turn this off.
Yeah, turn that off.
I think we're good.
Okay.
Bill.
All right, we're good. So I was can you see me now?
What are
We're
all
all
those
good?
notes behind? I got to stop you for a second. You
Why?
have like 10,000 post-its. Like 3M actually has a supply chain.
I'm busy
because
thinking,
of all
Joel.
the
Okay, I mean, Dennis, I don't know about you. Okay, I have thoughts. I have ideas. I
Wait,
jot them down.
are all those so that's not the reject pile, that's the wall pile.
Actually, these are tickers that I'm looking at. That's my ticker wall. Yeah, I have my jokes over here, but my I'm facing the trading wall for you today.
And what do you got on that wall?
Look, it doesn't matter because
That's the
I've
do
done
not
so
trade
bad.
list.
I've done so bad in Teledoc that it's wiped all of that stuff out. Okay. Luckily, I can get virtual therapy via Teledoc for all the money I'm losing on my Teledoc options.
They don't give you a discount?
I'm taking a bath on the I'm losing it all on Teledoc leaps. Yeah, it was very, very long Teledoc leaps. You know why they're called leaps? Because if when they expire worthless, that's what you want to do. Just leap out of a window. It took me
Bill,
an hour
what
to
about
write. It took me an hour to write that.
What about Roblox?
Which one?
RB Roblox.
I told you about that last time. Was I right or was I right? Are you kidding? Do you know how much I'm spending on that every day?
No, tell
How much?
My little girls, they're 7 and 10, and I use Robux inside of Roblox as incentives to get them to do their homework, clean the house, and it's like $9 a pop every time. So if I do it for one, I got to do it for twice. Sometimes that's $20 a day. If they're really good, that's $40 a day that I'm spending on Roblox. Doesn't matter how much I make on the stock, I can't keep up with what I'm actually spending on the company out of pocket. So I knew it was a good bet. Everybody thought it was like a pandemic play. Oh, no one's gonna play it anymore. All the kids back in school. I look at my daughter. What are you doing? Roblox. Are you playing any less? No, more than ever. I'm like, buy.
That's a great indicator. The kid indicator pays, man. That's a good indicator.
So really, what Roblox is, it's a bad parenting.
You guys should do your show on Roblox. Everybody, Nike just opened up Roblox, Nike Land on Roblox. That's the metaverse before Zuckerberg. They were in on it.
Roblox seems like a bad parenting play. People like just want to bribe their kids, right, to do everything.
Well, it's better
That's
than
how I
spanking,
parent.
right? It's better than
Bribes.
taking off your belt. It's better than what I had when I was a kid.
Not allowed to do that anymore, Bill. So
That's
what you
got
to do. Now you bribe your kid.
It's the ultimate. It's the ultimate in incentivization. It's Roblox. Yeah, you can get them to do anything. They can't stop, and they're doing crazy things in there. They've got avatars. They're building. They're like designing homes in there. They're trading. All their kids, all their friends from around the country, around the city. They're all sitting in their house, but wherever. She's playing with friends in Chicago, her sister in the next room, and they're all inside this like little world. And then they call each other up on Google Meet, so they're seeing each other playing Roblox at this all simultaneously. And everyone has my iPhones, and I've been stripped of all my technology during Roblox time. So
Bill, I got to ask you, I'm a little worried about your
too.
business and being stand-up comedian with the metaverse and stuff. Are you planning on doing? Well, when are you coming to Detroit? Number one. Okay, I keep asking.
Yeah, as soon as you guys can get a sold out theater from me, I'll be there. Things are looking up. I'm telling you right now, you guys aren't going to get me for free much longer. Okay, so we're now.
So are you? What about the metaverse?
Let me tell you something. What about the metaverse? I'm going to create my own Roblox avatar, and there's no stopping me. There's no looking back. But in all sincerity, yeah, the pandemic has hit me hard, but I'm feeling very, very bullish about my financial situation. I just took a retirement quiz, and it turns out that I will be able to comfortably retire in the year 3025.
Okay, so we're not that far off.
If I get a job, I'll be fine.
Have you considered maybe funding your retirement with NFTs? You can turn your jokes into NFTs.
No, but you know what I'm doing? I'm trying to look for other indicators that can really give me some leverage, an edge in the market. And I've noticed this. It just hit me one day that I figured out that the markets keep going higher as long as I abstain from all sexual pleasure, especially it's crazy, especially going solo. The markets just keep going up to all-time highs. So now okay, you and your audience, anytime stocks pull back hard and go into a free fall, it's because I had a weak moment and indulge my primal impulses. That's all I'm going to say about it.
Okay, well,
this is where we start to get cringing a little bit on the PG.
Come on, that was as PG as I can make it.
PG.
No,
can we talk EVs?
Where is he going?
Let's talk
EVs.
Yes. What do you got for us?
Could you believe Lucid got car of the year?
No.
Really?
Best car never made.
There's 147 of them. Come on.
They're on target to produce 0 cars this year. And they made Lucid the car of the year.
And they're worth twice as much as General Motors.
I'm all in on the Apple car though. If Apple can turn that around, as long as I can use the same charger I use for my iPhone, I'm all in on the Apple car.
They won't let you, man. It's going to be need a special adapter. You know that.
Yeah,
I
they
don't
never
want
have the same
to. I
charger.
don't want to have to use another.
You're going to have it's a separate charging port for the iPad, for the laptop, and for the car.
So Dennis, what do you say? Is Tesla safe now? You're going to buy back in? You're going to go long?
Tesla's a mystery to me. It's been a mystery.
I know it's not a mystery to me. Every time you sell, I buy, and I'm making
there you go.
lot of money.
Find your strategy that works and run with it. If it works, we continue to work with it. The
I
fade
figured out. The
trade will
stocks look
probably
great.
be working on Tesla. I've been wrong on Tesla for a long time.
That's my point.
Yeah, find what I'm wrong on.
You're wrong.
and
You're
go
wrong on the
against
best company in the entire economy.
It's everything. It's probably gonna be the most valuable company in the world. Why not? Why not?
Well, get on it. Stop building your house and start buying some Tesla.
I should
Build
sell
a
my
house for your
house
Tesla
and buy
car.
Teslas. Yeah.
Bill, do you have any favorite moments? I mean, we haven't had you on for a while. Any favorite moments from the show over the last 4, 5, 6 months? You always
No, I'm trying. I'm trying not to watch because I find that when I don't, it really helps my portfolio performance.
That's
Great
great feedback.
Me.
That's great
I'm helping your
feedback.
portfolio.
That's great feedback.
I'm giving you all the ideas that you can go against.
Hey, did you hear? Did you hear that the latest with Tesla? Even though the stock's bouncing back, that there's always some sort of negative FUD out there. Now it's a sexual harassment. They got those lawsuits. It's all over. It's the top of it's the first article they have here on Yahoo Finance. But President Biden says he only supports groping by union workers. That's his administration's official stance. Apparently, the harassment is rampant at the Tesla factory. It's not just the workers; it's the robots. The robots are goosing everybody. Nobody's safe.
These robots.
Tesla bots need a Me Too upgrade. I can support that. I think that should come up at the next stock.
Any picks? Any picks for?
Yes, I've got picks. I knocked out of the ballpark with Roblox. I got some more. You ready?
What do you got?
Yep,
What do you got?
We're ready.
Oh gosh.
All right, let me see. Mercado Libre, Meli, M-E-L-I.
Wow.
That's ready to come back.
The Amazon of Brazil.
Yes. Yeah.
What about the Amazon of Africa, Jemiah?
Oh gosh.
No, but Yandex, the Google of Russia. I like that one.
These are doing great right now.
Yeah. I'm looking for the Roblox of Narnia. I will definitely invest in that one.
Any other picks?
Yeah. Avalon Bay is pretty good. I like that one. I don't know.
Oh, there's one right off the. That's not
what's that one?
You took that one. I don't know where that one came from. Avalon Bay. We bring a REIT into the conversation.
I'm out there.
You diversify.
I've learned I have to diversify by listening to you people. I gotta know what's going on. I like that. What about Shockwave? Any of you guys into Shockwave?
The candy?
Not really. No.
Oh come on!
I know.
It's a medical devices company, and they use sound waves to clear the arteries of calcified blockage. They just place some really
the blockage just goes away.
Bad heavy metal into your arteries. They just pipe it right in, and it clears it out. It's fantastic technology. No one believes it works, and the stock is there's no stopping it. It's fantastic. It's part of the Santiago Power Gauge Metaverse stock picks.
Power Gauge Metaverse is good. I was thinking of Shockers, the candy, not Shockwave.
Yeah, no, that's not what I'm talking. But check it out. It's
what's the symbol?
It's pretty good.
It's SWA.
Hey, let me ask you this: how come we keep demonizing the all the billionaires like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos? I think why should we criticize people just because they have more money than God? I think that's a good thing. That's what I'm shooting for. As a matter of fact, I think there should be more religion in finances. And this is I've come up with a new concept for a company, a new fintech that specializes in Buddhist credit cards. But you can pay it off in the next life. You don't have to worry about it.
I was waiting.
I'm out of here. That's the best laugh I'm going to have.
Good one.
Love you, Bill. Thank you, Bill. We need some humor on this show. I appreciate it. We'll talk to you soon.
Anytime. Have a great day.
All
Bye
right,
bye.
Bill.
Thanks,
All
Bill.
right. Have a good one, Bill. Yeah, always great to get Bill on. I knew it was going to be something about buy now, pay never, something to do with that. So
Buy
yeah,
now, pay in the
Bill
afterlife. I like that.
Santiago, guys, you can learn more see more from him. Go to his website, Bill Santiago. He's at Bill Santiago on Twitter. That's his handle, and he's got some pretty good stuff on YouTube. He's got some good bits about religion. Very funny. Recommend it. Just search his name, Bill Santiago.
I don't think CNBC is going to be stealing him from us anytime soon.
I don't know. They may. Don't give them
Not a
ideas.
compliment.
Don't give them ideas. They're always listening. Stop giving them ideas.
Okay, real fast here. We got 9 minutes left in the show. I wanted to go back to the retail. Dick's Sporting Goods earnings this morning. This flies in the face of what Dennis said before, because this is a cash now company. They're making money. Their earnings per share, they blew it away. Earnings per share last quarter, they crushed it. They made $3.19 versus a $1.95 estimate. Sales also beat nicely, $2.75 versus $2.49 billion. And on top of that, they raised their guidance, their EPS guidance for the year. And again, the numbers were pretty good overall.
Yeah.
But
It's just a matter of, is this as good as it gets? That's what they're worried about. That's what the market's worried about. It's like they did no wrong in that quarter. It's just the market is like looking at it saying, well, it's not going to get any better than this, so we better sell it. Which is, crazy to think about. But I mean, this company is firing on all cylinders. We know outdoor activities, even though that increased obviously during COVID, it is sticky. People are liking doing outdoor activities because they started doing more outdoor activities. I'd love to buy the dip on this one. It was such a good quarter, and it's down on it. It spooks me a little bit. I have no idea. You might have somebody like Kramer. So there could be a scenario here, though, where Kramer could come out and he's going to talk. You know, he comes out at 9 o'clock and he'll say, this is, just one of these, and he can turn a stock around. So you just got to be careful. He is one that has liked dicks in the past. It would not surprise me if Kramer came out and said something to the tune of, this should not be down. This is a great quarter, and the stock turned it around just on Kramer's comments. But I mean, that's a gamble, obviously. I honestly, looking at it down here, it does seem like it shouldn't be down, but at the same time, I kind of get it because maybe this is as good as it gets.
Pre-market low 132.30, and you got a pair of lows at the 133 area. So if you're looking at support or you want to sell this on weakness, I'm looking at that. But just looking at the dailies here, and also a little bit of a hand at the monthlies, there's someone or a group of people, they're trying to work out of this stock above 140. Yeah, 142 something, 78 is the all-time high, right, from yesterday. You hit that level. But, you struggled here a few times. They pulled their offers. They said, get it up to once it gets over 142, sell me $1 million down to 140. And so there's a big, same area where it failed in September, right at this 140. So I'm looking at this whole zone. You break above this, I'll even give it to 143. You break above 143, and then, green skies ahead. But there's just a big seller out there. And now are they going to step down? Are they going to step down from 140 and say, you know what? I can't get out at 140. I'm going to try and get out at 138. And that's what it looks like to me. 133, pair of lows if you're looking to potentially buy the dip. But can't ignore that daily that turns into monthly resistance.
It's just been a really rough earnings night for retail.
Bad day.
Urban Outfitters getting hit pretty hard here. Best Buy getting hit pretty hard here. They're just, and maybe as much as they were buying the hell out of the Macy's and the Kohl's last week, it's kind of like buyer exhaustion in retail. And that's what you're seeing on these stocks this morning that reported pretty good numbers. But maybe the bar set so high by like Macy's, which obviously ripped 20% on their earnings report. Kohl's, which ripped, but then obviously gave it back afterwards on the report. I think it's just got a little bit of buyer exhaustion in retail.
There was a couple more. We had Urban Outfitters. They're kind of getting hit today hard with Best Buy down 10%. It's kind of the same idea. Their earnings are, their numbers that I saw were perfectly fine, right? Perfectly reasonable. But just not a good morning for that.
It's a tough. It's this and we should take it back to the overall market here, because I'm really at the crossroads here. Like, part of me wants to raise more cash, and then part of me says, well, no, this is historically a very strong time for, for this, the seasonality is a very strong time for stocks, coming into December, usually a great month for stocks, and it's been a good year. There's no reason why everybody's going to start selling all of a sudden. But I mean, you have the tale of two markets. You have some stocks like the Cathy high growth names that have been just hit really, really hard, to the tune of a lot of these stocks down 30, 40, 50%. And then you have obviously the mega caps that have just continued to go up no matter what, where the Apples and the Microsofts have been holding up the overall market. But we're again in this tale of two markets where, the IWM maybe tells a little bit more of the story, where it's pulled back about 10, about 4 or 5% from the highs where we were just a week and a half ago. And it kind of feels like we're pulled back from the highs. That's kind of what the market feels like, where when you look at SPY and you see it at the highs, you're like, that doesn't make much sense to me. And it was an ugly reversal day yesterday. So you caught a lot of people. It was breaking out. S&P's made new highs, Apple, Microsoft running, and then they pulled the rug out from all of them in the last half hour. So is there people caught from yesterday still? I think so. So I wouldn't be surprised, even though we've had our sell-off overnight and we've rallied it back once again. The pre-market traders, just buy the dip no matter what, it seems like. Is there institutional sellers that come in after the open? I'm somewhat scared that there might be. So I think at this point, I'm actually more inclined to take profits in some stuff that I'm in, as opposed to looking, well, what can I buy because this market's rip-roaring higher. The market's got some concerns here right now, inflation-based, obviously, but we're not out of the woods here yet from, the sell-off yesterday.
I wonder if the holiday plays into that as well, because you get people saying, well, I really only have a day and 2 days now to get out ahead of a 4-day holiday, right? A 4-day period. You
get in the holiday trade, and it usually tends to get quiet. But obviously Wednesday's usually Tuesday, and then Thursday and Friday is usually a very quiet day. So we are in holiday trade right now. That does mean liquidity goes down to a certain extent. So obviously we're not saying going down to zero, but liquidity becomes a little bit less in holiday trade. So you can see moves, and if there's volatility combined with a little bit less liquidity, you can see some wicked moves. Yesterday was some very wicked moves. It'll be an interesting day today. It's very important that this market doesn't just start rolling over after the open.
Yeah, well, Best Buy is still rolling over. Look at that.
Where is it? I liked it at 221. Now it's 118. So, or 121. So
yeah, it looks like you might get a look at that.
I've been wrong on that one so far.
Yep, this 115 area, I'll even jot it down to 114. 3 consecutive lows: 1389, 1387, 1441. So 114 if you're looking to get a little bit cheaper on Best Buy. We're unchanged here. We've come back.
All the way back.
46, 54, 50. Now we're unchanged. I agree too, Dennis. It's gonna be an interesting day. Also, from like a closing perspective, you've had your jaunts up to in the 4,700 handle, got the 47.40 and a half, but I just like to keep an eye on the closes and the S&Ps. Obviously the all-time closing high 0150, and that looked like a foregone conclusion going into the last 45 minutes, and we ended up taking that out. But there's a lot of congestion, you go back over the last 10 days, just got a lot of closes at like the 4680, 4682 area. So that's where we're at right now. We hold in there, go back, get that other punch over 4700. The best thing this market could do today is doesn't have to make an all-time high, that 47, 40, 50. That's a long ways away, but if we could get back and close in that 4,700 handle again, that would just be such a major win for the Bulls today.
All right. The day is young yet, but that'll be a wrap for the show. Once again, I did put the link in the chat.
Thank you.
To sign up for the final pre-market prep special of the year, December 11th, which is a Saturday, 9 a.m. Correct, guys?
Correct.
9 a.m. on the 11th. Order execution, order flow, and tape reading. Check it out. Link in chat, link in description. Thanks to Bill Santiago for hopping on today. Dennis, have a good rest of your day. Joel, I'll catch you later. Everyone, stay green, stay filled. Please remember all the information from our show meant to be used as informational purposes and not for investing or trading advice. We're only at 270 likes. Get us to 350. Let's go. We can do it. We're going to do a push right now in the next 30
I
seconds.
just like the show.
Yes, Dennis liked it. You can do it too. You can do it too. I know
Joel like it. Have you ever liked this show
Yes, Joel
before?
always
I'm gonna
likes
like it. I'm gonna like it.
Joel's
Joel
gonna
likes
like it for the first time ever.
Nah, he
There you go.
likes the show.
I just liked it.
He likes
I
it.
liked it. I liked it because Bill was on. I like having Bill on.
See, like it for Bill. No, if not for us, do it for our
Bill,
guests.
Bill's solid.
All right, I'm going to go
Even
over
if he
cover
fades me.
all these tickers
like
that we missed here. I'll go over PreMarket Prep Plus and back with you guys later
Yeah,
on. Everyone, have a good day.
We missed so many tickers. We're gonna hop over to live trading with Benzinga. Myself, Mitch, Ryan, Junaid, hang out through the open, do some trading, maybe some YOLOs, and we'll answer some questions. We'll do some tickers. We'll just see what you're watching, and we'll tell you what we're watching, and that's how we'll roll through the open today, as we do every day. So I'm gonna end the stream now. We'll redirect to live trading, which will start at around 9:05, and I'll see you guys over there. And that's a wrap.